Welcome back to Taiji Fencing 101. Here we are at part 2, and we're discussing what is a clean cut, a dirty cut, and just cuts in general. In Taiji Fencing, anytime the blade portion of your wooden sword touches the opponent's clothing, or comes close to the opponent's neck or head in the line of the cut or the stab, we consider this a cut. So it could be with the flat of the blade, it could be with the edge. We're not fighting about that. We're not here to nitpick over whether or not that one moment was right or wrong. If you got touched by the opponent's sword, it was too close to call. And we want to remember, swords weren't always the cleanest thing in ancient times or in historical times when people sword fought. So one little nick or one little cut could mean you could get tetanus, you could get gangrene, you could get all different types of bacteria from people using their sword or not cleaning their sword appropriately. So we want to remember that we never want to have the sword touch us. If it cuts our clothes, that's already a cut on something we brought to the fight. So we want to stay as clean as we can. So these are called clean cuts, when we cut the opponent, but they don't get us back. The goal of this sport is to never get cuts against us, or never get cut. So our goal is going to be to establish a cut on the opponent and get out of that situation without them getting us back. So we're going to have a couple small rules that will help you do this with your partner and keep a rhythm going. The first is knowing a clean cut. And so any cut that tags first starts off clean. So if I come in here and I cut his leg, he moves his leg out of the way, and he pushes back and stabs at my leg, and I can't get my leg out of the way in time, right now he has a clean cut. From this moment on in the exchange, he is trying to get out of the fight, so because to see the effects of his cut. So from here, he cuts my leg, boom, and as he moves back, he gets his leg out of the way in my counter cut, and I took a step. Now I'm going to take a second step, boom, and I'm going to keep going, and he gets out of the way of any cuts I do there, and now I cannot reach him. Come on back into the shot. And now I can't reach him. This means he successfully ended the exchange with a clean cut. And clean cut is worth 1 point unless it's the first one in the competition match. Then we weight it as double because it's the real cut, the first one that happens. So once again, let's look at this. Angel's going to bring the sword. He's going to follow my sword as I come up to his head, but he's going to come around towards my head and then push down, and then he's going to come into my leg or my back here, boom, and he's got a cut. Now I'll take a first step, 1, and I'll take a second step, 2. And Angel needs to get out of here and get out of that situation where I can't reach him anymore. Boom. Now I can't reach Angel. Oh, I can reach him. He needs to keep going. I can't step. He's escaped. We make it 2 steps, so this way you have a comfort with your partner, and it's not you chasing the other person down afterwards. If I didn't have a limit to my steps and he cut my leg, then I could just come out here and just attack him real fast and just gang up on him, and then there's no consistency and momentum. And so what happens now though is if Angel gets that leg cut, boom, and I get it back before he moves out of the way, I've now made that cut dirty, meaning we have both been cut in this match. And so or in this exchange, excuse me. And so we have an engagement. I miss, he cuts me. Boom, I come in, I get his finger. He might have got my leg, and I got his finger. Now as he takes the steps to get out, boom, I can't reach him. We end the exchange, and now there is no point awarded because the cut was made dirty, or it is a dirty cut because he had to sacrifice his own safety to get a cut. And our goal is to never get touched in this sport. So we have clean cuts, dirty cuts. Clean cuts are worth a point. So once again, we're here. Our swords are crossed. They can start at the bottom or they can start at the top. And as we make contact, we've begun our exchange, and we've started our first engagement of the exchange. Here, I disengaged to re-engage, but we're still in the same flow, the same exchange. Here, I feel that pressure. I disengage to try to get a new angle, but we're in the same exchange. Now, Angel's going to get a cut on me. As he comes in, he's going to get my leg. Boom, I try to get down here and counter cut, and he gets out of the way. Gets his feet out of the way and he steps. I've taken my 2 steps, and bam, I can't reach him. The exchange is over because I can't chase him any further, and he has a clean cut. An example now of me getting the clean cut. We're here, and let's move a little bit faster. Come into here, I'm looking for this, we're moving around. I get the hand, and I get away. He can't take any more steps. I'm off camera. Let's go back in. Great. And so now I've gotten a clean cut in that exchange, no matter how many engagements it took, and I get the point. Now let's do a dirty cut. Angel, you'll get the first cut, and I'll respond with a counter cut. So we're in, and he got my hand, but then I get the ankle. Now in this moment, we know it's dirty. So generally what we do is we re-engage right off the bat, and we continue fighting in casual play. So I get a cut on his hand, boom, he gets a cut on my chest, boom, so then we say, okay, we move back a little bit and we re-engage. And this is how we'll play as friends, training with each other. In the sport or in a competition, you'll always break after the cuts to reset and reevaluate the points. So this is an idea of clean cut versus dirty cut. Now let's do another one where I get the dirty cut, or he gets the dirty cut on me. So I come in and I move around, flip over, I come to the hand, but then he comes up into my arm, boom, it was dirty. So now we move back. And a big thing about our sport and our game is that we acknowledge that the other person gets the point. We may not say anything, or we may not say, oh, you got my arm. You can do that if you want. Or you may say arm and just keep going. You may call it, but it's not necessary. But we want to remember that our goal is to acknowledge the opponent's cuts, not to deny it. I know in some sport fighting tournaments, they'll say, ki when you hit the guy, and then act like you got the point even if you didn't, hope the judges are on your side. We don't play that way. In fact, we don't use judges in our sport. We just use a referee to keep everyone safe. But instead, we call each other's points. So when Angel gets tagged by me, he says that I cut him if we're calling it. Otherwise, we both know what really happened because I feel it in my hand when I cut and he feels it where I cut him. So in the reverse, we're going to keep going. Angel's going to get a cut on me, and I'm going to let it be clean. Boom, it's clean, and he's still engaged, and we're going to keep going, but I may tap to say, oh, you got my arm. And I say, good cut. And we acknowledge this. What tends to happen is if I deny his cut, safety becomes a question, because if I don't tell him, or if we don't have this equality of saying, hey, you got me when you got me, and we're being honest, then the person may start hitting harder because they feel like it wasn't enough to count. So we don't want to escalate force. We want to always count even the most gentle touch, because it's about achieving perfection. It's not about beating someone or being better than your partner. It's about both of you getting better in the session. So once again, we have clean cuts and dirty cuts. Our clean cut is if Angel tags me, boom, and then gets away without me being able to chase him down in 2 steps. That can be 1 step with each foot or 2 steps with 1 foot. If you end up on 1 foot, generally we say you got to hold the stance for it to still count. Now, if we do the verse, and I get a clean cut on Angel, I get his arm, he comes after me, 1, 2. Here, I've got my point. If we're doing continuous play, right back at it. So if we're here in continuous, he got my knuckle, boom, I missed the counter, so he's clean. We're back, 1, 2, cut up, cut in, can't get it, boom, oh, now notice, this time Angel came over top, and he didn't cut my head, but I still stopped, and I'm acknowledging the point, because he chose not to hit me, because he had control. And that's one thing you want to keep in mind when you're moving with the head, and that's how we'll discuss in the next video safety and contact levels with your partner. So one more time, let's play around with this. Looking for clean cuts. That was dirty. Got a knuckle in there. Ooh, got my hand. Got his hand. That could have been a headshot, so I'm going to call that dirty. Okay, let's slow it down. We're excited for the camera. All right, great job, and we'll see you in the next video.